Good morning. What's going on with you? I am coming to you semi-live, not totally live, but it's a recording that you will have an opportunity to listen to. And this morning, it's lazy Monday for me. Hands are a little swollen, so I'm just going to medicate and take it easy today, which is the purpose of this video. Now, while I'm talking to you about this video, about what occurred, I want you to understand that I'm also working on another version of my family tree. And I think that this may very well be the version that I share with you in the next few days. Okay, so let me tell you what happened. Let me give you some backup. So many years ago, when I first started dealing with my back, I was working as a certified nursing assistant at the nursing home. And during that time, I injured my back. And I injured my back doing patient care. And if you know what that is, then you know. So I've literally been dealing with my back issues since 93. Yeah. And it is getting progressively worse. Yeah. Over time. And I'm trying to make adjustments. So during that time, from 1993, they put me on a mild narcotic. And basically, the mild narcotic worked for about 5 or 6 years. And this is all the while I was still working. But the reason why it worked is because I was taking a lot of medication. I forget what the prescription called for back then. I never over-medicated that because I still had to work. Well, after I had a lumbar fusion done in 2001. And in 2001, that's when my whole life changed. Because by this time, I was not only dealing with just back pain, I was dealing with sciatica. And I was dealing with high blood pressure. I was dealing with muscle spasms. A lot of stuff. And the only thing that worked was medication and rest. By then, I have been diagnosed with degenerative disc disease and osteoarthritis. So many things changed over time. The medication levels changed. I mean, I had gone all the way up the spectrum and came all the way back down. So now I have a primary physician that I see every 6 months. And I have a pain management specialist that I see every 3 months. And so I have to go out of town to see these doctors. Okay. None of them are in town. So the doctors, they don't even give you the prescriptions anymore. They just go ahead and call it in. I'm hormonal. So normally when the doctor calls in your prescription, it goes to the pharmaceutical pharmacist who's going to fill it, or the company, and they text you. But I noticed I was starting to get some flack about my prescriptions. And this time, June, when it occurred, I have it recorded. I have to just go back and look. The pharmacist that would be filling my prescription from my pain management specialist would be at the local Walmart here in town. And so all I ever do is call them and ask that they fill my prescription that's on profile from that particular doctor. No problem. And the clerk, she says, "You don't have a prescription for this man." I said, "Well, that's impossible because I just left the doctor and they just told me they were going to send it to you guys." "Hold on, you got to talk to the pharmacist." She was a little abrupt. So I waited about 7 minutes. This guy comes on the phone who says he's the pharmacist who would be filling my prescription. I'm like, "Okay, fine. How can I help you?" I said, "Well, I'm calling to get my prescription filled." And he says, "Oh, yeah, why do you need it?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" "Yeah, why do you need this prescription? And it's my right to ask you why you need this prescription because it's a narcotic. And I need to know why you need it." I said, "Oh, I wasn't aware that I had to disclose my medical history with you. I'm very well versed on HIPAA. I think it's Healthcare and Portability and Probability Act. Maybe backwards, but that's what my area of study was when I was in college." And so by then, I said, "Okay, maybe he's having a rough day." I said, "Well, my doctor prescribes it for me. I get the prescription from my pain management specialist." I said, "I've been on all kind of medication, and my blood pressure is going higher and higher as dealing with this pain. And I'm just trying to remain, calm as I'm telling him why I need the prescription. I have to tell him everything because he doesn't fill all of my prescriptions." So he said, "So that's what you need it for?" I said, "Yeah. I have degenerative disc disease, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I have osteoarthritis." "Oh, you got them both, huh?" I was appalled. I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "What is your name? Because I don't like how this conversation is going. You might need to go back and get you some training on how to speak to customers on the phone." He says, "Oh, My name is Mark, M-A-R-K Jackson. I said, Mark Jackson? Yeah, I may have to report you. Oh, you thinking about reporting me, you say? Well, if you're going to report me, you better think about that twice. I said, excuse me? You better think about it twice because you don't want to upset your neighborhood pharmacist. I am the one who fills your medication. I said, are you threatening me? I might need to record this conversation because this is getting out of hand. I said, I was just calling to get my prescription filled and I couldn't understand why your clerk said it wasn't there. And I knew it had been called in or, sent to you over the email or however you guys receive it. And I was just trying to get that prescription paired up with another prescription so that I could come and pick them up at one time. And now here you go. I don't need your smack and your flack. I said, excuse me. And if you're thinking about recording this conversation, that's illegal. I said, excuse me. Now we're going to talk about impropriety and illegality? Are you serious? You threatened me. He said, I'm just going to get off this phone. It's going to be about an hour before I can fill this prescription. And the entire time I'm going, sporadic palpitations going, girl, calm down. Calm down. Even now, I get upset because I can't transfer any of my medications from that pharmacy to another pharmacy because I will lose everything that's on profile that my doctors have called in for me, which then will give them the opportunity. I'm not saying they doing it because he told me he had back problems. I said, well, you might better go to your doctor and get you your own medication is what I told him. I'm not saying they're doing it, but it's a possibility that bruh, Mark Jackson, could be taking my medication or tried to take it. What other reason would someone who's on a job speak to a customer such as that? He might need to go back and get some training, Walmart. I had to stop looking up things for my genealogy weekend. Yeah, today is my weekend. Y'all had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is my weekend. So, yeah. What do you think about that?